Okay, today is Wednesday and my first day of coming back and gonna start doing a daily little video of what I'm doing, how the weather is up here, and just to let you know, here's two of my projects. I put six tractors away yesterday, and the little Caterpillar, it needs a new drive bell. That looked pretty shot. And the little Cub Cadet here, I need to clean the battery posts. They were looking kind of bad before I end up putting those away. And then we'll come back in here in the shop and kind of show you what's going on here. I just brought these trucks, or the truck and the trailers and the frames up from downstairs, and I'm going to attach the boxes to the frames. And then I'm going to build the lift cylinders and get that finished up and ready to go. And then over here I got some tires still over here and nothing over there. But then over here on the workbench is the log stacker. And I'll show you here in a couple of minutes kind of what's going on with that. And over here on my welding table, that's pretty empty right now. So I'm going to hand the camera over to Deb. She's going to spin it around. And here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just every day for 10 or 15 minutes take some video of what I'm working on and just see if people are interested or not, and if they're not, I understand. So what's happening today, other than Tim's semi, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on this first. I got to put the little pins in here, get everything hooked back up, and then that'll be done. So build the cylinders. So probably tomorrow afternoon for sure. I should have that all done. And then I'll get back over here and I'm going to work on this. So for right now there's a bunch of, you can't hardly see it because I got some primer paint on it, but there's sanding that all has to be done in here, and I do that with a Dremel and a small file on both sides. And you can see how kind of show you how the cylinders kind of work up here, going up and down, and see how the clam works here. Everything, the forks at the bottom move, and the claws here both, they all move. I got them set up pretty tight because I hate, there we go, the paint was in there. I hate all the loose parts on them, so I want them to be snug. And I'll spin it around. Maybe just to kind of show you. There we go. Kind of give you an idea of the back, how it's designed. It has the two wheels in the front. A lot of the bigger ones have the dual wheels in the front, and I wanted to kind of make the one with the duals, but I only had 2 of these tires left. I used all 48 tires like that, and right there's a lot of them right on this model. And but I wanted to get them used up. So on the back, I knew that it had a different size diameter tire, and I got plenty of these kind here. So, and these tires spin, and the cylinders go up under here into the sock. Little, it's dried primers, a little snug. So when that turns, they all turn up in there. And on the back, got the cab coming off. And then where I'm at with the cab is I still got a lot of sanding to do. Tomorrow I'm gonna mix up a little batch of Bondo and clean this up. And I'll show you how I do that and kind of fill that in a little bit and sand it. And then I got most of my cabs I put 4 screws in the top of the roof because when you get down to the end, the steering wheel, the seat, everything has to go in there. One of the last things, because the windows and doors have to go on, and there's no way to get into there to do all that, to do the last stuff. So the only way I can get the last windows in was just through the top. So I got the steps on it, I got the air cleaner, the exhaust pipe. So the outside of the cab here is pretty well ready to go. I got the lights on it. And so what it gets now, it'll get a round circle I'll cut out, and it'll pivot in the middle, and then the seat, the console, the steering wheel, everything will be on that circle, and so everything will pivot like it kind of does in the real machine. And so then that goes back on there, and then I was going to show you kind of just real quick over here. I'm going to show you everybody how I get my metal and start out. So let's see if you can kind of see here. If I can bring some of this out. There's my little metal stash right here. So if you can kind of see it, let me come back over here. Maybe the light's better. This is what I work. This is what I start out with. You got 1/4-inch strips, and then I have Jordan cut on the shear. We start with 1/4-inch, then we go to like 1/2, 3/4, then we go to 1 inch, and then we go to 2-inch, which is on the back there. And I'm already out of some of the sizes. And then we go to 3-inch right here. I don't know if we can see this. And then we got some like 6-inch. We got some 6-inch here. And then, so it's all different sizes. So we go all the way up. And here's the big pieces. I go up to like, I go 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. I go about every inch when we get up to the bigger stuff. I go up to some of this big stuff right here that we leave at like 24 inches. There's the pieces of 24. So that gives me a lot to work with. And then I have a small hand shear. I have 2 hand nibblers that I shear it with. It'll do some circles with it. And the shears are really working. Then here's a machine that I do a lot of work with, is the handheld bandsaw. I love this thing. I have a horizontal vertical bandsaw out there, but this is so handy. Let's see, then I got the brake over here that I do all my bending with. And I've had that for years, and I love this thing. So I don't really have a lathe or any presses or anything that's like the average person couldn't get and put in a little shop. And you can see how small my shop is. Sometimes people say, how do you get anything in here at all? Like the garden tractors. Well, I have a door right here. I don't know if you can see the door, but then it closes right here, and most of the time it's closed because I don't really need to get anything big in or out. And here's my welding table. There's some of my clamps over here. And here's my rolling workbenches and welding, and I'm going to show you one day kind of how I did that, and maybe I can give you some tips to build your own. Farmers today are saying they're not putting workbenches in their new workshops. They're kind of just like having everything roll around. So maybe I can give everybody some tips on how they can make their own, because they're very handy. And let's see, here's the tires I was talking about. There's a couple of signs. Here's a couple of tires. Some tires that I was talking about that I'm going to make my first pulling tractor out of. And we'll see what happens with that. I think it'll turn out pretty good. And here's some of my smaller tires. I got I got ideas for almost all the tires. I still have probably over 300 tires and rims in the back shed. One day we'll go out there and I'll show you what's out there and all the stuff that I've done. And over here on this next one, I have about 100 old-fashioned steel wheels, every size and every shape. And the real thin spoked ones, some of the old plow ones. And this is how my hobby started. We're just building these little tiny implements, horse-drawn plows and planters and potato diggers. And every one of the drawers has a different style of wheel. And let me see. Oh, here we go. I made some little horse-drawn plows over the years when I first started. And you can kind of see these are parts of the plows. And here's a coulter and spring assembly that I started. Here's a little quick hitch that I built years ago and just never used it on any of the little tractors. And let me see, here's some other discs, little planter disc or stuff like that. And let me see, whoa, them are kind of empty, I guess. Here's a bunch of little larger wheels. And some different style ones. Here's some more. So anyway, that'll give you a good idea. I guess I'm kind of even interested. I haven't seen these. I haven't opened them drawers in a long time, so it's kind of fun to see. I have a lot of memories making all this stuff. I still enjoy it. Here's some bigger ones. Okay, we'll sign off for now and see you tomorrow.